Slate 2. All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a beautiful day in Malibu on a road that isn't exactly closed, but it isn't exactly open either. We seem to have found a loophole in the canyon continuum that I intend to exploit because I have a silent vehicle. This is the Tesla Model 3 Performance with the dual motor. So it's the fast one, the all-wheel drive one. They make another all-wheel drive dual motor car that's more focused on long range. This one is more focused on speed. The base price of this car is $56,000. As tested, it's $66,000. This one has basically every option you can get. They charge $1,000 for the color, which they charge $1,000 for every color that isn't white. It has the white interior, which is $1,000, which I'm not personally about, but some people have told me they like it. And then it has the full self-driving capability option, which does, in my opinion, nothing. In Alex Roy's opinion, it does, quote, incremental slight improvements to the autopilot software. In both of our opinions, that is a $7,000 waste of money, and you're basically getting nothing because autopilot is free. So, believe it or not, this is an actual Tesla press car. I wasn't banned or anything like that. This is a press car from Tesla. Some folks have asked about the VIN number, which ends in 393642. I will say that of all the Teslas I've driven, this one appears to be screwed together the best. The weather stripping, the body panels alignment, the headlight alignment, the interior fit and finish is the best I have seen from Tesla. Of course, it's a press car, and but I've heard the consistent stories I've heard is that they are improving quality incrementally over time. And so, yeah, this thing has 450 horsepower equivalent and 471 pound-feet of torque at 0 RPM, which is great because it weighs 4,062 pounds according to Motor Trend's scale. Also, according to Motor Trend's radars, 0 to 60 in 3.1 and a quarter mile in 11.7 at 115. That's fast, folks. That's quick. Quick and fast are very different, and we will discuss that on this video. I like that you can set it up. We're going to put it into sport mode. I like the steering in comfort for everyday use, but we're going to go to standard for the canyons, and then regenerative braking will be in standard so I can 1-foot drive where possible. Let's start with a launch. Yep, that's 3 seconds and change. I believe it. We're starting with 80% battery, which is about as much as I could have to get up to where we needed to be. I actually was able to charge it up to 100% overnight at my house, and then I went to Malibu to use their new supercharger, but I was at 92 when I got there. I tried to top it off, but it wouldn't let me. So 80 when we're at the top. Still, acceleration, at least for one launch, was mighty brisk. The whole thing feels very digitized. The steering is incredibly artificial, although it is really sharp. Brakes feel like video game brakes too, but they are reasonably effective, at least for a few good stops. Model 3 Performance gets a lower ride height and upgraded brakes versus the long range, plus upgraded wheels and a Tesla spec Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tire. So that'll have a low rolling resistance when going in a straight line, but in theory, good grip around the corners. But it is a Tesla spec tire. It's not off the rack. The acceleration out of the corners is excellent, up to about 100 miles an hour, which is plenty for most people. The ride is very good, although it can get a little wallowy on some of the more uneven sections of tarmac. This pavement here is nice and smooth. This is going to be a little interesting because this road is under repair from the fires, and so there's sort of these strategically placed stop signs where visibility is limited. The virtue of silent whipping, my friends. Not that it's not my idea of a fun day in the canyons to come up here with a Tesla. To me, city car, right? I want my senses really fizzling up here, and this is not what the Teslas do for me. If I'm going to spend a day in the canyons, give me a vintage sports car with a stick. But nonetheless, the capability demonstrated here, low center of gravity, very, very fast, quick, very quick, not fast. Quick is acceleration, fast is top end speed. Although Tesla says this thing's got 165 in it. The long range version only does 148. I feel, so here you got the one lane, and then we stop, then we go around. Silent whipping is good. This is sort of like the new BMW, because new BMW M3 in the way that you can drive like a complete dickbag, but unlike the BMW, you can do it so quietly that it's really difficult to offend other drivers. If you go to squirt around, the lack of the sound really helps you make that move invisibly. And I am a big fan of being as invisible as possible while driving like a complete dick. The car does make you want to drive like a complete dick. I find myself speeding almost everywhere I go, just because it's easy. Because when you're in an electric car, the concept of beating on the car isn't really there. It doesn't feel stressed and strained the way even the best gasoline engines do. It just feels like this stream of electrons, and you flow more or you flow less. It doesn't ever feel like the thing is under stressed. I'm making the brakes work. I got a little ABS engagement there. They're pretty good. They're not amazing, but listen, for a $55,000 practical car, this thing goes. It goes. It's quick. It's planted. With the electric, the two electric motors and the tuning, it's pretty infinitely variable torque vectoring all-wheel drive. And so what you can do with that is make the car dance in a programmed but predictable way. And they've thought about those things. I've seen people bring these to track days, and they seem like they're having a good time. I don't doubt that. I'm sure. What is flapping around back here? Oh, sorry. There's a thing, and it's this. It's the tray. Got it. People seem to be having fun with these things at the track. In the city, it's fantastic. This car fits my lifestyle. I can charge it at home. I don't drive very long distances, but I do spend a lot of time in the car. I'm frequently in stop and go traffic. I'm always shuffling through different types of media that I'm playing over my car. It's the right size for 2 or 4 people. It's smooth. Helps me. I'm a little more relaxed when I arrive in a destination in any electric car. And so as a city tool appliance, it's lovely. But truth be told, you don't need the fast one for that. The regular one, it's not better at that stuff than the regular one. It's exactly the same. Stop signs are kind of weird, I know, but you get to keep going away from them. This thing is quick. It is quick. We're going to flip around down here and go back upwards. So as a city car, I love it. As a city car, you can have a good time in if you need to go through a canyon or live up in a canyon or whatever. And let's see, turning radius is only okay. It's not amazing. Considering there's no engine up front to impede the front tires. I wish it would be a little better. It is fun to just repeatedly accelerate very, very fast, though. I approve this message. As far as usability every day, I love the UI. It's really fast. It refreshes quickly. It's very intuitive. It's for a touchscreen. You know, I complain about touchscreens a lot when they're really slow. If the touchscreen is as fast as an actual iPad or very close to it, I have a lot less to complain about. When I touch things on this screen, they work. It's not that hard to find. I wish there was like another scroll knob. I wish there was a scroll knob for radio stations, because right now there's just one for the volume. You may be able to program that. I haven't really played with it enough. If that's true, forgive me. I love all the storage. There's so much center console storage, door storage, the trunks and both ends. You can fit a ton of stuff in the car. It's very practical in terms of going to the shops or whatever and how much stuff you could do. Or a road trip, as we talked about on the podcast with the supercharger network. Look at this. It's going to dance. As we discussed on that podcast, I don't want to say I predicted it. I didn't, and I'm not going to take credit for that. But they have expanded the supercharger network in LA. It was pretty shameful before how few options there were for supercharging. Now they've added one in Santa Monica. They've added one in Malibu by Bill's. They've added one in Glendale at sort of the base of the Angeles Forest. They've added quite a few that really do improve the usability of the supercharger network within LA. I think that between a 110 outlet at my house and maybe a once a week supercharger, I think that would cover all of my uses, because I've frankly been able to keep this thing topped off at home. Now, that being said, why could I keep this one topped off at home and not the Jaguar I-Pace? This one charges faster on a 110 outlet than the I-Pace. I suspect, like many things Tesla, that there is no actual magic to it, and that Tesla pushes its hardware and its software harder than other manufacturers do because they have less of a concern about longevity. That may come back to bite them in the ass. It may not. Their gamble may pay off, and it may turn out that the hardware could handle being pushed like this. These really fast acceleration numbers, the fast charging numbers, the repeated charges to full, those things take a toll on batteries over time. And what we're starting to see now in the earlier Teslas is things are failing, and just like they can update something over the air and improve it, the worry is, and we've seen it, that they can downgrade something over the air as well. And they can. People have woken up to see their early Model S's, their P85s. They've woken up to like 20, 30 miles less overall range. Well, why is that? It's because the battery health wasn't good because the limits of the software were pushed early. We suspect, okay? Do I have evidence of this? No, but the dots line up, and that's what we suspect. I have an argument, and I find this to be, I think this will be an interesting debate to have. I have an argument that the Model 3, maybe the Model S, all Teslas really, are the first truly disposable cars. Designed to be leased, not owned. In fact, you absolutely do not want to own this car. Under no circumstances would you want to take ownership of this technology, ever. You want someone else to own it and you to borrow it. And you pretty much understand that it's got a service life of 3 or 4 years, and then it should get crushed and recycled into another one. There's nothing about this that I can envision as being nostalgic, especially if the virtue is upgradability. There's nothing about this that, to me, seems like it is worth preserving. You know what I mean? Even my Aston Martin, which is full of 90s Fordness, still has a permanence to it that makes it worth holding on to and keeping around on this earth, even though other cars have moved beyond it. This car, to me, screams toaster oven. Great toaster oven. That dope-ass Brevo one that has all the other options and does cool stuff that no other one does. But ultimately, you use it for a while, then the better one comes out, you throw it away, you get a new one. It's not, I don't see this as being something worth owning long-term, cherishing or preserving. I see it as being something that you use squeeze every last good drop of, and then get it out of here. Which is kind of bad when your, in theory, mission is environmentalism, sustainability. I don't see this as being a car that is worth keeping and sustaining. That being said, I'm tempted to lease one. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. Driving around the city, interacting with it here, not using any of the advanced driver assistance features really, because I turned on autopilot for 15 minutes on the highway. It scared the crap out of me twice and I decided, nope. I don't know about you guys, but it is way easier for me to simply steer the car than to be ready to steer at any time, but not steer. And it's my opinion that unless you're in a really bad traffic jam, an attentive driver is much, much safer than that system. And that system gives you almost a license to pay less attention, but it will not save you in the way that you think it will. And I do not like half measures. I do not think that we are anywhere near full autonomy, nor will we be in my lifetime. I do not believe we're anywhere near a robo-taxi or a car you could just take a nap in. I do believe that we should pursue parallel autonomy in which you, the human, drive the car, but that car is uncrashable. The computer will keep you from crashing, but you're doing the driving. I believe in that type of autonomy, which actually would save lives and not potentially cost lives due to inattentiveness of the drivers that it has trained poorly to be inattentive. That being said, I think it's important to respect where Tesla has moved the bar. I think the idea of a center screen with an infinitely adjustable steering wheel is great. Some of their packaging solutions, their phone docking system, the way their navigation zooms in and out, the way their navigation always seems to be at the right zoom level so that you know where your turn is going to be and that it doesn't need to speak to you. You can just tell better. You miss less turns even on mute. That I love. And I think a lot of other car makers could learn from this interface. But I do think that for a 4,000 mile car, there's some rattles in it. In general, it feels like a disposable good. But I've enjoyed the experience enough that I would maybe like to lease one for myself and then hand it back at the end of 3 years. So thank you to Tesla for letting me borrow the car. I appreciate their confidence in the fairness of my reviews. Thank you to you for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.